in this video we are going to be working on our handwriting without teal sheet. So go ahead and make sure you have this one in front of you. It is the end sheet that has the pictures on the bottom. That is the one we'll be doing today. We'll be doing the front and the back of it. First thing you need to do with your pencil is to put your name at the top of this page. Go ahead and put your name up there. Pause the video until that is finished and then come back. Here it shows us how to make our N in case we forget. We always begin at the dot. And number 1, it's showing us a little arrow down. So we begin at the dot and we make a big line down to begin with. Then we pick our pencil up and we frog jump back to the top. We slide down and then we do a big line up. So let's go ahead and do some of these together. Ready? Start on your dot, do a big line down, pick your pencil up, frog jump to the top, slide down, and a big line up. Now your pencil won't fill it up as much as my Sharpie is, but that's okay, it doesn't have to. You just need to get the shape right. Go ahead and do this next one. Start at the dot, do a big line down to the floor, pick your pencil up, frog jump back to the top, slide down, and a big line up. Now notice, when I do my big line down, I'm not swimming back up. I'm picking my marker up and I'm going back to the top. I'm frog jumping. This is one of our frog jump capitals. Okay, start at this dot. Do a big line from the ceiling to the floor. Frog jump, ribbit. We're back up there. Slide down to the floor and do a big line back up to the ceiling. One more to trace. Start at the dot. Do a big line from the ceiling to the floor. Ribbit. We frog jumped. Put your pencil on the dot. Slide from the ceiling to the floor. And then do a big line right back up to the ceiling. Okay, down here we are going to trace this one, and then it gives us some squares to practice in, but it still gives us our dot to start on. So start on this dot, do your big line down to the floor, frog jump back up, slide down to the floor, and big line back to the ceiling. Here is where you get to make them on your own. Now, they want us to stay inside the box. We can't make it so big that it covers the entire page. We want to keep all in the box. So we're starting on the dot. We're making a big line down to the floor. Notice I didn't trace the side of my box, okay? I have it a little bit away from the side, just a little bit, straight down from that dot. We're going to frog jump, ready, ribbit, up to the top. We're going to slide down to the floor, almost to that corner, and then do a big line up to the ceiling. But notice how we stayed inside our box. We didn't go all over the page or anything. Let's go ahead and do the next one. Put your pencil at the dot. Do a big line down to the floor. Frog jump back up. Slide down to the floor and big line up to the ceiling. 2 more. Big line from the dot down to the floor. frog jump up, ribbit, slide down to the floor and up to the ceiling. And then go ahead and do your last one and see if you can do it without me giving you the prompts that we use to write it. Okay, now down here, we have to color everything that begins with the N sound. If it begins with the N sound, it wants us to color it. What is this a picture of? It is a newspaper. Does newspaper begin with the N sound? Newspaper. Yes, it does. So color the newspaper, and I'm going to pause the video so that I can color it. You pause yours, and then we'll come back after we both have it colored. Okay, so we have our newspaper colored. And we can always color with crayons. I forgot to tell you that, but you can use the crayons to color with. Let's look at this next picture. This is scissors. Listen to the beginning sound. Scissors. Does it begin with an N sound? No, so we're not going to color it. Look at this. It is a necklace. Does necklace begin with an N sound? Yes, it does. So I'm going to color it, but I'm going to do each little section. Color each little section. I'm going to make mine 2 different colors. That's why I'm doing the little ones. So go ahead and pause the video. See how I'm going back and I'm making my big section a different color. But I'm doing each tiny section so that I can stay in the lines. Pause your video and color that and then come back to see me. That was tricky to stay in those lines, wasn't it? But we were able to do it. I hope you were able to also. Look at this next picture. This is a nail. Nail. Does nail begin with an N? It sure does. Go ahead and color your nail. Okay, we have the nail colored. This is a leaf and an acorn. So we're not going to color those because leaf does not start with an N and acorn does not start with an N. Let's look at this last one. It is a net. Does net start with an N sound? Yes, it does. Go ahead and color that net. Now what I'm doing, usually a net is kind of see-through and has a lot of holes in it that you wouldn't color. So I am just coloring the outside edge of it. What would be the metal part that's holding it? Just like that. The net is colored. Okay, boys and girls, pause the video until you get this side done because I'm going to flip my paper over and we're going to do the other side together. So make sure this side is finished before you flip your paper. Okay, I have flipped my paper over. Go ahead and write your name up here because we can never have too much practice writing our name. Pause the video and write your name up here. This is our lowercase n, and over here it gives us an idea of how to do it. It says 1 and it shows an arrow down, meaning we dive down. And then we swim up and over and around. So let's try the first one. Always start on the dot. And we're going to dive down. And we're going to swim up and over and down. And I even got out of that line a little bit. So those things happen. Start at your dot. Dive down. Swim up and over and down. Start at your dot, dive down, swim up and over and down. Start at the dot, dive down, swim, 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 up and over and straight down. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish these, and I'm only going to do the top row, so you can go ahead and pause the video and finish these, and then when you get your first row finished, just those finished that I have there, go ahead and come back and resume the video because we'll be doing this second line together. Look at the second line. To begin with, we trace it. Now we don't dot it. We're going to trace these dots in a straight line. So go ahead and put your pencil on the open dot, dive down, swim up and over and around. And see how it wants us to keep it in the little box? Because we don't need to make our lowercase letters really, really big. They're small, they're lowercase, they're smaller than the capital. So go ahead and start on your dot, make your straight line down, dive down, swim up and over and down. And see how I stayed in the box the whole time? Try to do that. Start at your dot, dive down, swim up and over and down. Go ahead and finish just this row. When you get that second row finished, like I have, then stop, because we'll be doing this last section. We'll be beginning it together again, so I can explain it to you. Look at this bottom section. They do not give us boxes this time. We have to remember in our head to keep our letters small. So we're going to start at this dot, we're going to dive down, we're going to swim up and over and around. Now look, here's where we're going to begin one letter, and here's where we're going to begin the next. So we have to keep our ends in this little space. They can't swim and become bigger than that space. So we're going to dive down, we're going to swim up and over and around. And see how I left a lot of space between my letter and my dot where I'm going to begin my next one? Dive down, swim up and over and around. Again, I left a lot of space there because I don't want my ends to run together and touch one another. Dive down, swim up and over and around and down. Last one. Dive down, swim up and over and down. And then this one out here, it does not give you a dot or anything. You have to picture the dot in your mind. Visualize it in your mind. You know the dot is on the dotted line doorknob. So start on the doorknob, dive down, swim up and over and around. Okay, boys and girls, you can go ahead and finish this. And this is the end of the video, so you can go ahead and just let the video stop and you can finish your ends. Thank you for working on these with me today.